America's new favorite pastime? Banning things, especially Indian companies. Every other week, it's another Indian app flagged as a national security threat. But is this really about safety or about protecting America's ego? India is rising fast, building world-class products that are cheaper, faster, and sometimes better. For a country used to being number one, that's terrifying. So, what happens when you can't out-innovate? You legislate the competition out. These bans aren't about safety. They're about a reigning champion hearing the footsteps of a challenger. This is the new global power struggle, fought one app at a time. And the world is watching. National security, the magic phrase that justifies anything in American politics. Want to block a popular Indian app? Just say it's a security risk. No hard evidence needed, just the of a threat. One official says, "We have concerns," and suddenly you're blacklisted. No trial, no jury, just a verdict from a shadowy committee. It's economic warfare with plausible deniability. America isn't being protectionist, just cautious. Especially in tech, where data is the new oil, the US wants control. Indian companies like Zoho are black boxes, no backdoors, no leverage. So instead of adapting, the US just blocks them. Next time you see a headline about an Indian firm being a threat, ask, a threat to whom? Security or Silicon Valley's profits? The world is catching on, and India is learning to play the game. America used to see India as the land of call centers. That's ancient history. Today, India is a tech powerhouse, building companies that with the best. Take Zoho, a Chennai-born company offering a full suite of business software, often more affordable and integrated than Microsoft or Google. Every new Zoho user is a shift in the digital world order. Or Coup, India's answer to Twitter, proving Indian developers can build and scale fast. And Paytm? It revolutionized digital payments for hundreds of millions before Venmo was a thing. This isn't just competition, it's a tsunami of innovation. The real fear? India isn't just copying American ideas, it's coming up with better ones. More inclusive, more scalable, and built for the next billion users. For Washington, that's a nightmare. The challenge isn't about code. It's about American exceptionalism being threatened. The old guard is nervous, and for good reason. The game has changed. How do you stop a tech tsunami? You build digital borders. Not a physical wall, but a maze of regulations and legal hurdles. It's quiet, bureaucratic suffocation. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Indian startups face endless privacy laws, financial regulations, and standards designed for US giants. For Facebook, it's business as usual. For an Indian startup, it's a deal breaker. This isn't accidental. It's a system built to protect incumbents. Lawmakers talk about free markets, but quietly support barriers for outsiders. It's protectionism disguised as consumer protection. We need strict data laws to protect your privacy. Sure, but it's also about keeping the tech crown. The digital wall is the first and biggest obstacle for Indian companies. It's a silent gatekeeper, and it's very effective. The rules are always changing, always favoring the home team. For Indian innovators, the US market is a fortress. But every wall has cracks, and India is learning how to find them. Let's talk hypocrisy. The US panics over a few thousand Americans' data on an Indian app, but shrugs off massive breaches by its own companies. Remember Cambridge Analytica? Facebook's scandal affected millions, but the company survived with a slap on the wrist. If an Indian company had done the same, it would be banned overnight. American failures are mistakes. Foreign ones are threats. It's a rigged game. Indian founders face higher standards, zero room for error. One bug, one misstep, and they're in the crosshairs. Meanwhile, US tech giants stumble from scandal to scandal and remain untouchable. The double standard is glaring. It's not about security, it's about protecting the home team. For Indian companies, the message is clear. You're not just competing on tech, but on trust. The rules are different and the deck is stacked. But the challengers aren't backing down. Space used to be America's playground. NASA, SpaceX, and billionaire dreams. Then ISRO, India's space agency, started launching rockets, successfully, and on a shoestring budget. India went to Mars for less than Hollywood spent pretending to go. Chandrayaan-3 landed on the moon's south pole, making history. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Space isn't just for the super rich. The US response? Quiet panic and subtle roadblocks. SpaceX gets celebrated. ISRO faces regulations and security concerns. When an American disrupts, he's a visionary. When India does it better, it's a threat. ISRO is democratizing space, building a public highway to the stars. That's a disruption no PR spin can hide. The space race just got a lot more interesting. Want to see the future? Visit a Mumbai street market. UPI, India's instant payment system, is the world's most advanced. Billions of transactions, nearly free and seamless. It makes US payments look ancient. Why isn't UPI global? Because it's too disruptive. The American system thrives on friction. Every swipe means fees for banks and card companies. UPI wipes out the middlemen, threatening billions in profits. Wall Street lobbies to keep the old system, blocking innovation. Indian apps like Paytm and PhonePe can't expand here. The infrastructure and will don't exist. It's not a formal ban, but a refusal to innovate. America is protecting profits, not consumers. These bans and barriers aren't random, they're geopolitics. For decades, the US was the queen on the chessboard, controlling the game. But the board is changing, and India is no longer a pawn. Every Indian tech success, every ISRO launch, every UPI adoption, it's a move in a global power shift. The US knows tech leadership equals global influence, so it uses bureaucracy and regulation to slow India's rise. Containment without open hostility. It's about managing a competitor, not eliminating one. That's why a Facebook breach is a problem, but a potential Indian breach is a crisis. It's not about the company, it's about the flag. The US is playing defense, trying to stay on top. But pyramids can be climbed. The world is watching the balance of power shift. The digital age is multipolar, and India is making its move. The chess match is far from over. Can the US really stop India's rise with regulations and digital walls? No chance. You can't ban ambition. And India is overflowing with it. The dream isn't just to work in Silicon Valley anymore. It's to build the next Google in Bangalore. The brain drain is reversing. Talent is staying home, building an ecosystem. Every barrier forces Indian companies to get more creative, to look beyond the US, and to build their own standards. Ironically, America's containment strategy may be accelerating a multipolar tech world. India's rise isn't about access to the US, it's about internal dynamism. The bans are just hurdles, not finish lines. A new era of global leadership is dawning. Diverse, decentralized, competitive. The future won't be written by one country. India has already logged on. You can try to block a revolution, but you can't ban it.